Hi, my name is Yisrael Picker. I'm a social worker and a child therapist working here at The Place in the Ramat Eshkol neighborhood in Jerusalem. I recently wrote an article based upon a poem titled Children Learn What They Live. It's a poem written in the 1950s by Dorothy Law Nolte. And the premise of the article, of her poem, is to point out that children don't necessarily learn from the classroom, but they learn from their environment. They are a project of their environment. And being a social worker, and the entire theory of social work is the idea that a person is a culmination of their environment around them, this poem really resonated with me. And I started my article with the following story. Story goes that there were two young children who decided to play Shabbos one day. So in the afternoon they were playing and their mother was watching them. The daughter decided to put something on her head, decided to pretend to light candles. The son put on a little hat, and he says, "I'm the Shabbos Abba, I'm gonna go make Kiddush now." And he grabs his cup, and he goes, "I'm ready." Oy vey, what a week I've had. Because he thought that that's how you start the Kiddush. Don't need to explain where he got that idea from. It's probably self-evident that every week that's how he sees his father proceed before he makes the blessing of Kiddush. And this beautiful poem discussing how good qualities and bad qualities and how the children obtain them as a product of their environment, I go through the poem step by step and explaining how each and every one of these things causes a child to get to the stage that they've gotten to. If you grow up with justice, you get to realize that it's a just world. If you grow up with anxiety, the child will become very, very cautious and very anxious and afraid to make decisions, so on and so forth. I'd love to hear your feedback and enjoy the article.
Thank you. Okay, so we thank Yisrael very much for that article. I'm just going to ask people, do you have any questions for Yisrael?
Hold on,
any
while we do
feedback?
that, I'm shutting this light.
It's
Thank
on.
you.
The video's on.
Okay, but it's blended.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. So, shh. Do we have any feedback to Yisrael?
Well, something. Where does nature versus nurture?
I was going to
come
get
into
there,
that?
but I figured.
Have you just-
Okay. It is a combination. It is not 100% nature. It is not 100% nurture. There is, when you deal with the nature of a person, you're dealing with a skill set that they have that you're working with. Even when you're working with that skill set, that doesn't mean you can either exasperate it or you can help calm it down. There are children who are by definition anxious. There are children who are by definition depressed. I saw this absolutely brilliant article recently, and maybe I'll share it on the group, discusses the 4 types of anxiety, the 4 types of depression that a person has. And that very often, even among the non-professionals, they'll tend to lump it all at once. Oh, they're depressed, they're anxious. Why are they anxious? Are they anxious because of their environment? Were they always just an anxious kid? Is there something specifically going on in their life, situational anxiety? If you have to pay $10,000 by the end of the day or you're getting evicted, you're going to be anxious no matter how chilled you are, no matter what your nature is. That's a situational anxiety. So to couple them all together is doing a disservice for yourself, doing a disservice for your client. So you need to recognize what type of an anxiety or a depression or whatever it is that you're working with. So that's when you get into the nature versus nurture. Is it a natural anxiety that the child has? They've always been like this, we don't know why. Or is it something a byproduct of their environment? And when you can narrow that down, of speaking to the child, learning about the house, maybe even paying a home visit to seeing what their environment is like, now you can better gauge what anxiety are they dealing with. And once you know which anxiety you're dealing with, now you can deal with it more accurately.
Doesn't it create a certain fatalism, though? That you're saying, oh, well, you know, this is related to the environment, and once your parents give you the following, or once the school gives you the following, then you're just stuck. So how do you sort of give respect to what a person went through in their environment without giving it such weight that they feel weighed down by it?
Great question. So the first question is, you have to recognize who is the client structure. If you are dealing with a child with a supportive parents, so now if the father, for example, is unknowingly being a bully to the child because he's thinking that he's being a joker, and then you're able to go to the father and say, by the way, your child literally cannot handle this, you need to back up on this. And now you can get the father to back up on this, so now that's very different because now you can control the environment a little bit. If you're dealing with a situation where the child is in a school, they have to remain in this school for whatever reason. So now you start working on defenses and how to assist the child in working within their environment. So yes, it all depends on what the situation is and what your control is. But obviously if you can control the environment, help work on the environment, that is ideal. But also the recognition that not every environment is able to be controlled. And we're not able to bubble wrap around our children and our clients. And we want to assist them with the necessary tools that they could have to help build them up.